this is what
Oh, she can do it.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And then I'll be
We've got a little story here.
Yeah. This is from Linda, my sister.
These past few days, I've been trying so hard to sit down and write my tribute to Aunt Wanda. And it's been difficult because so many different memories flood back, and then I am afraid I will forget something. But what comes to me at the end of each memory journey is the same thing. A very generous person with a great sense of humor, creativity, and love for many. She seemed to be the person God put on this earth to walk among the lonely, sometimes forgotten and unloved, to heal them with her concern and care, and also to make us laugh and see the lighter side of life. Even though she had few possessions, she shared everything. That was the reason I put the love charm on the ribbon with an angel I made for her. She also gave her love freely to animals. When I told my son Steve that she passed away, I said, "You probably don't remember her." And he said, "Yes, I do. She had a little brown dog."
Oh, yeah.
That was Daisy.
Yeah, she did.
Daisy went to me.
When I made the angel as a tribute to her, I put the little heart with the paw print on the ribbon as well, because that is something so memorable about her. She was the first person who I knew who owned a dog and who taught me how to care for a little being by her example. From the time I was very young, she would take me to her house in Astoria to visit as she went about her day. We would walk Brownie, her little terrier, and then come back to her house to cook or bake something and eat dinner or lunch and share some fun. Often she would take out a pencil and paper and start drawing different figures for me. She loved Betty Boop, and that was one of her sketches. Another was her version of Jimmy Durante, a guy with a really big nose. She always made pictures that made me laugh, and there were stories with the pictures. I so wish I had them now. When my children were little, I used to draw for them and tell them stories just as she did for me. Sometimes she would start saying something from a radio show. "Oko poko, slowly I turn, step by step."
I remember doing that with me also.
It was supposed to be scary, but it was funny to me, and it always made me laugh. Then she would give me language lessons, telling me Hebrew terms like geschlufen and oy vey. We're about halfway through. She always dressed beautifully with her hairstyle, makeup perfect, and scarves around her neck or her hair.
Does everyone remember
Yes.
the neckerchief collection?
Always.
Yeah. I developed my love of makeup and scarves from her. My mother was not big on wearing jewelry, so a big thrill for me was when Aunt Wanda would open her jewelry box and let me play with her jewelry. Sometimes she would give me a piece I took a fancy to. I think that's where I got my love of jewelry from, and that is why I made a little angel for each niece to remember her. And now for the funnier side, a couple of incidents that stick out in my mind. One time when I went to stay with her in Astoria, I noticed some strange-looking gravy sitting in a pot on her stove. I didn't want to be insulting to her, but dreaded having that as part of our dinner. So I asked her, with all the enthusiasm I could muster, "Wow, what is that?" She cracked up. She said, "Linda, that's not for us to eat. That's the pot I am soaking before I wash it." She always thought it was so cute that I thought it was something good to eat, and I never told her otherwise. I think that was where I learned diplomacy and how to care for another person's feelings. Another time, we were in Mastic Beach, and one of my sisters or cousins came down the stairs from the attic. They seemed to be very heavy on their feet, and she said to me, "The patter of little feet." Her observations were always right on and had a touch of humor, but were not nasty. By the time I was older, she was living on 54th Street in the city. That's what I remember. And I would sometimes stay overnight at her house when I was taking a ceramics class at the Museum of Modern Art and working in the city. She was always happy to see me and made me feel welcome and cared for. In later years, when I was living in California, she would be so happy to see me when I came for a visit. She always made sure she visited me and spent hours and hours telling me about her various life adventures and the people she met along the way. Always she was looking for that love and validation she so deserved, but she never said that. She simply told me compassionate stories of people she met who were lonely or hurting. She made me feel like I was the only niece who was special to her, which was something I needed as I was growing up. Of course, she probably made every one of us feel that way, and I am happy to share that privilege now. I wish I could be with all of you as you honor her journey to the next life. I know she is with her sisters, her brothers, and her mother now, and it is not hurting or sad, and I just hope she knew as she went over to them that she was always loved by all of us.